Left Behind is my favorite The Last of Us experience. I'm not saying it's better than the first game, which I consider the best, nor I'm saying it's better than the second game, which is my least preferred, but it does have a special place in my heart. It tasted sweet until it turned sour. I don't say this only because of how the story goes, but because of how the story doesn't go.
You're right.
I'm Freddie, and today I bring a writer's perspective to show you why Left Behind is almost the perfect DLC. Let's go. In terms of narrative, I think the original The Last of Us is responsible for maybe the best opening sequence in a game, video about this soon, because it establishes right away the answer to the most important question when it comes to character development. Why does it matter? The first game is all about Joel. He suffers the first defeat and as a consequence he takes the final decision. But this decision only makes sense because in the first 10 minutes of the game we learned why it mattered. They made us care and relate to him only a few minutes after we pressed play, making all of us at least tear up with a joystick in our hands, which may sound ridiculous but it happens quite often. Ellie didn't have the exact same treatment here, but as we got to know her, we got to like her for different reasons, mainly because she knows her way around Joel. She brings his best side back again. She brings back the man we saw when the game started. And then together, they reveal their true sides to each other. And if you live in the real world, you know, I know you know, that showing your best side to people often hurts, forcing you to hide yourself in an even darker spot than before. In Left Behind, we have a deeper understanding on why it matters to Ellie. And one of the best ways to understand why someone suffers, why people behave the way they do, is to understand what they've lost. When we travel to her past, we can see the true Ellie, something we couldn't see before. In the base game, she's got the weight of the world in her back, but she just wanted to be a normal kid and go through the normal stages of life as we all go. To have true friends, to crack honest laughs, to love, to feel desire, to have fun even though the world is falling apart. Isn't that what we all do? Don't we try to live our best lives with the world falling apart all around us? As we play the DLC, we understand the challenges she faced before meeting Joel, but a DLC means nothing if it doesn't converge with the story we already know, so it needs to bring another point of view to the present moment. Left Behind happens in two different timelines for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason.
The flashback storyline shows you why it matters, so in the present timeline you know why she needs to take a stand. Both timelines mirror each other, the only difference is that now she can do something about the problem. And because she doesn't want to deal with loss and grief once again, because she truly cares about someone once again, because she's having fun around someone once again, she needs to act. You also need to act by subscribing to the channel if you're new here. Back at the mall in Boston, Ellie and Riley had the best time of their lives, but it didn't last long, bringing Ellie to the realization that, in this world, peace doesn't last unless you fight for it. All those challenges strengthen their bond, but what for, if now it's just a memory? In the present day, when Ellie takes over and we need to find Joel some medical supplies, we understand all of her reasons to fight for his life. Notice Ellie accepted her own death back at the mall. She knew eventually it could happen, as she had nothing else to fight for. No family, no friends, no love, no freedom.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
How hard would you fight not to lose everything you didn't have, but you now do? Only you know why you wake up in the morning, whose lives you're trying to improve. When we can relate to someone else's struggle, we tend to put ourselves in their shoes. Maybe that's why we care so much about this set of characters, because the main problems they suffer on their journeys are problems we could all suffer tomorrow, and we don't even need infected for that. That's absolutely peak writing, ladies and gentlemen. I think any industry related to entertainment is yet to produce something that at the same time is so heartwarming and so heartbreaking. And this contrast kills me only for thinking about it. It feels personal, like we shouldn't be there, we shouldn't share these moments with them. It should have been an untold secret that we now have to keep. Left Behind loves you when the girls tell each other jokes, when they're in a photo booth trying to find the best poses, when they're playing video games their own way, trying masks on, riding the carousel, or even throwing bricks at abandoned cars, showing us that in this world they live in, even bricks can be fun with the right company. Then it hates you when it tells you they'll never live moments like these again, when it shows you that's the end of it all. It loves you when it reminds you Ellie's just a kid, with a free pass to act silly and careless like any kid would. Then it hates you when it shows you why she can't be a kid anymore. Maybe that's why in a base game Ellie gave Sam the toy, to remind him that being a kid is important, cause she's been there. It loves you when it uses the smallest of the details for portraying the jolliest, smallest everyday activities, like dancing, kissing, and messing around. Then it hates you when it uses the same level of detail for depicting brutality, danger, and acceptance. It's a roller coaster of emotions, but other than your like, I still feel something's missing. Most of us aren't billionaires, so I understand the majority of players complaining about the price they charged. Problems such as combat encounters being less challenging, limited replayability, lack of new substantial gameplay mechanics, and on the top of it all, short duration. You can literally beat it in an afternoon, 2 times. But duration is not something that I often complain about. I like when the experience I'm looking for lasts exactly what it's supposed to do, and I don't think it's the case here, not only because it's tiny, but because I wanted some answers the game didn't give me. Answers that would increase plot quality and game duration as a consequence. There are 2 things they didn't approach in this DLC, and before I speak, have in mind maybe the writers wanted to leave them for interpretation. I strongly disagree with this choice, because I don't think it suits the writing style, it's just missing information. So in my opinion, leaving room for interpretation in this case is nothing short of weak plot delivery. The first thing is how they dealt with Riley's transformation. It's like the film ended right before its climax. They missed the opportunity to show the actual moment when Riley turned. For this, we missed Ellie's conflict and reaction. It's like the writers wanted to spare our tears for some reason. This was the moment for the writers to bring their A game to the table. That is what the story is all about, but it got left out. Why though? How did Ellie deal with Riley's transformation? Did she end her pain and honored her memory by putting an end to her? Imagine them giving us the controller and forcing us to do that. Which would bring us to the final conflict of the story, Ellie's realization to the fact she wouldn't turn. She would notice something was off way before, as Riley would be physically changing and feeling sick, but imagine Ellie giving Riley a proper goodbye by taking the pun book from Riley's hand as a souvenir, as she had to leave her body there and skip them all. Clearly she didn't give up. I mean, she survived. Duh, it's a flashback. They denied us this final act when she fought for her life, when she discovered she's special. They denied us the scene when Ellie actually was forced to leave something behind.
Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
It breaks my heart only to imagine how painful would be to watch the game title getting justified. Guess this idea was also left behind. This universe they created is just so deep that only by daydreaming extra story beats I get chills, but we have reasons to appreciate the narrative for what it is. The base game made me care about Ellie, but the DLC made me love her. Do you agree with me? Would you change anything about Left Behind, or is it perfect to you the way it is? Leave it in the comments down below. And for more things The Last of Us, subscribe. The best places to interact with me are on Twitter and Instagram at SXFreddie. See you next time.